The election is over, and now the Austin Public School District is facing some new challenges after its operating referendum failed to pass last week.
It would have raised the per-student spending from $42 to $505. ABC 6 News Good Morning reporter Samantha Boring spoke with district leaders about what comes next. Samantha.
Good morning, Rachel and Brianna. Well, the last time Austin Public Schools asked for an operating referendum and got it was back in 2003. But this time around, they didn't get enough votes to pass it, so now district leaders are going to have to make some adjustments.
It's important to really have the resources needed to function at full capacity.
Austin Public Schools referendum did not pass. 5,956 votes for yes and 6,134 for no as of Tuesday morning.
The vote was pretty positive, but very close.
The referendum mainly focused on increasing spending from $42 per student to $505.
Enrollments have leveled off. Therefore, the amount of money we've been receiving from the state has stayed pretty static.
The last time an operating referendum was passed in Austin was 2003. Superintendent David Krenz says it can be harder to pass an operating referendum than a bond referendum.
And that's the hard part. The public expects something new. They expect a reason for it. And it's hard to say. We just need it to operate to keep things, the doors open.
And getting the word out was different this time around. Because of COVID-19, district leaders weren't able to have in-person contact with voters. Instead, they relied on virtual communication like social media. Superintendent Krenz says now that the referendum has failed, students and staff could feel some impacts.
I don't know what's going to happen next year, but I could definitely see larger class sizes coming since the referendum did not pass.
For example, elementary classes could go from 22 children to 27 or 28. And the number of staff members could change too.
What do you look at? Over 80%, 85% of our budget is people. So we have to start looking at reductions of people.
Austin Public Schools has already made $1.6 million in reductions.
More and more is being asked of schools and teachers, and to not necessarily have the resources needed to meet those needs will be a challenge.
Krenz hopes they can get through a tough year with new changes ahead. Well, if the referendum would have passed, that would have meant higher property taxes for those in Austin. Now, that $42 per student is on the low end compared to other districts in the region. Now, if you look at Northfield, it's roughly about $1,700 per student, and Rochester is about $700. Now, the school board will have to weigh in on what changes and decisions need to be made to make adjustments that the referendum has not passed, and those discussions will begin in the spring. Rachel, Brianna, back to you.